I will train so hard that those around me think I am insane. I will push myself beyond my limits every day and refuse to let any obstacles stand in my way. I will work harder than everyone else. Through my relentless pursuit of perfection and strength, I will become unstoppable, and those who thought I was crazy will soon come to respect me. I will not rest until I have conquered everything in my path.
Welcome to the Tony Dennis Experience. That's the doctor, baby.
Hi, everyone. It's Marcine Ricketts. Welcome to my podcast, The Infinite Climb. Yes, I did change the name to add on infinite, and I'll tell you why a little later. But as of now, I'm excited, you all, because I have with me on my couch Mr. Stitch. And I have to say Mr. Stitch because, he's the one and only, right? He's the one and only. I told you about him a couple weeks back that I'll be having a fashion designer from New York, East Coast in the house.
East Coast in the house.
And we have Mr. Stitch, and he has had a lot of success in the fashion world. And he's going to share a little bit with you about his travel to LA. He's going to talk about the industry. He's going to talk about where he is now and the products that he has upcoming and has out now. And we're going to shoot the breeze. We're going to chop it up and just talk about all the great things. We of course, in any climb, there's ups and downs, so we're going to talk about that too.
Yes.
Right, Stitch?
Yes.
So, Stitch.
Yes.
Why LA?
Why LA? Well, I came to LA because of a business venture, and I've always had inspiration of coming to Los Angeles. But yeah, I came here for a business venture to continue my career as a fashion designer. So living in Buffalo and also to Atlanta was very inspiring to me. But at the time, I started a bag company called Tote and Carry. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with it. And our headquarters was here in Los Angeles.
I was seeing it. Fabulous stuff.
Thank you, Marcine. And so I came here to Los Angeles, and I moved downtown.
Yes, DTLA.
Yep, DTLA.
Yes. And so you were living in Buffalo at the time.
Yes.
And you said, you know what, if I'm gonna make something happen, I hear LA's the place.
No, I was living in Buffalo at the time, and then I moved from Buffalo to Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, to Atlanta, yes.
Yes, with my first wife. And things didn't work out well over there between us. So we separated, got a divorce, and I married again. But, I had children and everything. And after I got my children away, going to school and college and everything.
You got some beautiful girls. Okay, I've seen them.
Well, they take after their dad.
Oh, listen, you're a handsome man, so we're not mad.
Their mother is very beautiful as well.
Yes.
So, I just, after I sent them away to college, I felt it was time for me to spread my wings. And what was a better place to go than
LA?
Los Angeles,
Was it all you thought it was going to be when you got here? Tell the truth.
I kept coming and going because I had to do business here. But, I was kind of shocked at first because I didn't know at first, what to expect of LA. Because when you come to Los Angeles and you come downtown and you come to certain areas, it's very Spanish driven. So, yes, I hear about the blacks population here, but I haven't really been indulge with that.
Mm.
'Cause I'm downtown.
Yes.
I'm in the garment district.
Right,
That's
right,
where I live. I live very close to the garment district where I can go, come and go to buy fabrics, to buy
right.
supplies,
Mm.
to just do things. So I could stay current and up
Right,
to date with fashion. So I'm always seeing a lot of Spanish,
right,
and
right.
I don't see no blacks.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, "Is there any
That's true.
blacks?
You know what?
Any
Yeah,
brothers
that's
and
true.
sisters? Is there any
Yeah.
brothers and sisters over there?"
Right.
So I was like, "Hey," and then I said, "Marcina, I like black food."
Uh-huh.
So I was like, "I gotta find me some food," and all I keep finding is tacos and burritos.
Oh my
Let me
gosh.
stop.
Yes, yes.
Let me stop. Your tacos and burritos and
Mm,
taco trucks.
mm.
So I'm starting to learn their culture, their
Yeah.
food. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's for me, growing up, I think like in high school,
hmm
and not to say that you weren't, I was around so many different cultures, and I'm from another culture myself. I'm Jamaican. Big
okay,
up to the Adidam. I'm
yes.
Jamaican. So coming up here, I lived in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and it was like every nationality
Oh,
went to that school. So I was so used to
Massachusetts. That's Boston.
Boston. Yeah,
Woo.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my school was just like a diversity pot. So coming here, I get what you're saying. There's definitely not a lot of black people downtown LA. You have to go like the Inglewood
Yep. Inglewood,
or yep,
Compton,
yep, or out there.
Watts. Yeah.
Yes, 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 for
And,
sure.
I would love to go there, but I don't want to go over there by myself.
Mm.
You
You're not
know.
like me. I'll be going there. Me and Isaac will be like, Isaac, let's go. I throw him in the car. We're like on the road.
Okay, now I'm not gonna lie. I do
Yeah.
go to Roscoe's
Yeah.
every now and then.
Mm.
When I go to Inglewood to the airport, drop someone. If I duck off and go somewhere and try to find me someplace to eat over there.
Mm.
I grew up on the east side of Buffalo, and also too, I grew up in a predominantly black city in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
It's different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not really afraid of going to those areas.
Yeah.
It's just that I don't know. I heard so many different stories. If you turn the corner for a man,
Yes.
you turn these different corners. Everything looks like it's a nice area. And something can happen to you because I might have on a Yankee hat, or I might have on me some other type of paraphernalia that might be striking.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get myself in those situations.
Yeah, we can't listen. You have too many good designs to drop, and we can't afford to lose
No,
you. Okay,
we can't.
so
Yeah.
we can't afford to lose you. So I kind of understand. Um, and yeah, we both live in the same building, so
Yes.
it definitely is a a culture shock for me. With not so much the Spanish, but the homelessness. Ooh,
Yes.
I never encountered the numbers, but I guess if I lived closer to downtown Boston, I would have probably seen, or Lowell, Mass, I would have seen it more. But yeah, it's a lot. But I'm glad that the mayor seems to be doing something about it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
she seemed Karen Bass. She's building buildings and putting them in, and I hear people complain, but you know what? At least she's trying.
Well, she's trying. And there's so many vacant buildings
Yeah.
ever since COVID,
Yeah.
since the pandemic. So some of these places that's just empty lots that's
Yeah.
just sitting there that people are going in there damaging,
Yeah.
spray painting and starting fires in, and next
Yeah.
thing you know, we have a whole nother situation
Right.
where they're trying to stay warm. Why not let some people live in there that don't have a place to live? But you just got to just govern it to make sure that they're not in there,
Doing
anything
things.
wrong.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, she's so I don't see anything wrong with that. But in any event, you were here during COVID.
I came here right after COVID. I came here right when we had to still have the vaccine card.
Yeah, you were like, darn it.
Yeah, I came
My
here
timing was just so great.
right when
I
you had
heard it
to
was
have the
crazy
vaccine.
downtown.
Well, I didn't see. I came because I came at the time when we just was kind of coming out of pandemic. We still had to wear our mask everywhere you go. But we had to have the vaccine cards to go anywhere, into the grocery store, to go to a bar to have a drink, to go get food. So when I moved here, it was like that. So when I first got here, it was just come home, go to work.
Yeah.
Come home, go to work.
Yeah.
And then it started opening up a little bit. I started drifting around, walking around the area when I moved here. And I found different places that I like to hang out at, different places I like to go get some food. And then it went from showing the vaccine card
Right.
to you didn't need the card.
Yeah.
and then we didn't need the mask.
Yeah. So it
And now
got
I
better.
can sit here with you
Yeah,
without
yeah,
having my
yeah.
mask on.
Yeah,
right now,
yeah.
You know, because the only thing I would know is everybody by their eyes.
Yeah. Right?
Right.
Oh man, those were
was the
some
times.
time. Oh my
Yeah, we
gosh.
both said at
Yeah.
the same time, knock on some
Yeah.
wood.
Yeah. I was obviously in Boston at that time, and
Mhm.
yeah, I was just like, wow, this pandemic is something else. But yeah,
At least you can say you lived through it.
yeah.
It's something like in history that I can say in my lifetime. That was a serious moment
Yeah.
of humanity just
Yeah.
for us to go through that
Yeah.
whole thing of the pandemic.
Yes.
You know,
You would I would never have thought
I would have
that I
never
would have
thought.
lived. That's something like you read in your history book, like
Yeah.
the Spanish flu and this and that, the bubonic plague, like back.
Yeah.
I would never have thought. I was like, wow, we living through some times.
And it wasn't only a region or an American thing, a country thing. It was a world thing.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was very scary
it was
for a lot of people. We
Yeah.
all know someone who probably died from
Yeah.
COVID-19, but
Or they have long
Hey.
COVID. I know so many people with long COVID that
yeah,
got it. And did you get it? I
I
got it.
never got it.
That's good. I got it. Like okay, at the end of it, like in 2021 spring, at the end of spring 2021, I went and got the one vaccine because I never got the follow up. I got one, and like 2 weeks later, I got it, and it lasted. Yeah, and it lasted like for 2 days.
Yeah.
You know how like some people had it for like days? It was like 2 days, and I was like,
no, I don't know if I did have it.
yeah.
But I know I was getting tested regularly because I
Right,
worked on
'cause-
movie sets.
Yes.
And they were sticking that thing up in my nose.
Oh,
boy,
that's annoying. Yeah.
And she was going to the back of my brain. I
Right?
felt like,
That's what it feels like. I was like, oh,
Yeah, and I had to get it tested every day because
Mm.
I worked on the movie set, and I was considered to be A group,
right.
which is the group that's around talent.
Right,
'Cause
right.
if
So you have to be careful.
You know, yeah, people
Yeah.
probably don't know, but I was a tailor on set.
Yeah.
So you know, if you tailor on set,
Uh-huh.
that means that you're always around the talent.
Right,
So, you know, 'cause
right.
working with the costumer,
Yeah.
and, you know, it's the costumer and the tailor because anytime she needs to get something altered or
Yeah.
fixed, or
Yeah.
you know, she wants to make sure,
hmm
or he makes sure that their items fit them well.
Right.
So you got to have the tailor.
Right. You got to have them there. Yeah.
Mhm.
That sounds exciting. I've when it comes to sets, I always thought about a fashion designer being on set, but to make the costumes or to make the
Mhm.
outfits, not to be on set to tailor just in case they need tailoring. Wow, that's
Well,
amazing.
My position that I call it's notified as tailor on set, but I'm
Mm.
really consider myself a creator. Uh, what's the word? I was trying to change my title. I am the creator on set.
Okay, creator on set.
Fashion creator.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
Or
yes.
item creator, or you know.
Yeah. What are some of the movies you worked on, if you don't mind me asking?
I worked on Three Could Play That Game.
Yeah.
I worked on Trois. I worked on Dwight in Shining Armor.
Uh-huh.
I worked on Raising Dion. That's a
Uh-huh.
Netflix project.
Yeah.
So those,
Yeah.
and several commercials too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It is
It's exciting because you get to see you, especially if you're like me and you're passionate about your work, which I can tell you are passionate about your work. We've had numerous conversations
Yes.
about your designs, that you're very passionate about what you
Yes.
you moved all the way to LA, for crying out loud. You better be passionate
Yes,
about it, right?
yes, I am passionate. Yes.
And so to put your passion into making people feel good and look good, and then seeing it on set, and seeing it on whether it be commercials or movies, that has got to be very rewarding.
I mean, it is, and the seeing your name and the credit, it
Yeah.
is rewarding. It's challenging.
Mhm.
You got to get up early in the morning.
Mm.
You also too have to deal with a lot of different personalities.
Yeah.
You have to deal with egos
Yeah.
from the costumers,
Yeah.
because you know they're very high in demand, and they can be a little
Yeah, I can imagine.
bossy
Yeah.
in a way of that they need their work.
Right.
So they need their work on a timely manner too.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
sometimes for me, I might not get no sleep at night.
Mm.
I might leave the set with the racks but everything has to be back done by tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But a good costumer, after I've worked with a lot of them, um, they know like, okay, hey Stitch, we got this is playing maybe 2 days from now, so you got some time to work on
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
and
To think about it,
to
give
think
you,
about it.
because you have. It's good for you because you can't be tired and produce good work.
Yeah, no, you can't,
Yeah.
and
So
especially rushing,
yeah,
trying to figure something out. Especially if
yeah.
you're making an original garment. And if you're
Ooh,
making an original garment, that means that you got to give that tailor or seamstress time to
exactly.
create, fit,
Right.
and make sure everything is well. First, you got to
Yeah.
go out and buy the fabrics and so forth to come back in. Get their fabric colors approved with the background of the set. Making sure that everybody knows that okay, so I can't put something on me that's going to bounce with the walls. It's
Thank
going to
you.
blend too much, right?
You're like me. I'm all about the color and the way
Yeah,
it.
the color, the
Yes.
way it has to match. So, and not me, but that's the costumer's
Right.
job.
Mm-hmm.
And but I started learning things about that. So I started
Mm-hmm.
learning. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the costumers
Mm-hmm.
like working with me.
Yeah.
Trusting my professionalism and trusting my um, passion, like as you mentioned.
Right.
So yeah, it was quite exciting. I haven't done any movie sets or any commercials over here in Los Angeles.
Uh-huh.
But I've just been focused on working on my products and my
Okay.
bags and also too just I've been kind of in a little funk a little bit, but that happens in other
Yeah.
things that you're supposed to go through
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
change location.
Yes. Yeah. You go up. You have your ups and downs, and
Yes.
you got to find yourself.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
gonna find yourself.
Marcia, I've never moved someplace
Uh-huh.
and I didn't go through the up and down.
Yeah. You have to.
Yeah, so and all of my moves in life, I've went through
Yeah.
an up and down.
You hear that, folks? Nothing great ever comes without you going up and down.
Yep.
That's like me going
Yep.
up and down the mountains of Colorado on my way here where I thought I was going to die. Up the mountain, down the mountain. It was dark. It was snow. There were no lights, but that's a story for another day, folks. We'll tell that another day. But yeah, all jokes aside, yes, you have to go through because you have to find your footing. And I was listening to someone talk today about going from a caterpillar to a butterfly. Okay, you gotta don't be cracking open that cocoon for that caterpillar. That caterpillar has to learn to fight, to be strong enough so that when they come out they can withstand what they need to withstand.
Yeah, there's no need to rush any process. It's like trying to crack an egg and have a chicken come out and it ain't even cooked yet.
Yeah. It's like, what the heck?
It's just like the baby in the oven.
He has to sit there and wait. I hear that. I hear that.
The time is right.
I hear that. So let's talk about tote and carry.
Okay.
So you started tote and carry in Atlanta?
I did start tote and carry, yes, in Atlanta.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. And you told me about you seem to have a calling, from what I understand and from talking to you, of helping others to grow. So along with your God-given talents of design and crafting, and I'm not sure, did you go to fashion school at all?
No.
Okay.
I went to school for the arts back in grammar school. Well, a little bit of grammar school. We had a pretty decent art program over at DEC. Then I got transferred to public school. I was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I got kicked out.
Yeah,
I
listen,
get transferred.
I won't even talk about my childhood. Let's just bypass that whole thing.
I got put out, and I wasn't the best student.
Yeah.
I wasn't the best student.
Yeah.
I wasn't real studious.
Yeah.
But I was an athlete.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I was in the art program over at 53 Public School, and I got recommended to go to a vocational high school.
Wow.
Yeah. In the vocational high school I went to, I had to go take a test to go there when I was in 8th grade, and I scored one of the highest scores.
See?
Yeah.
So it's about like where you fit in. Sometimes it's not every kid is meant to fit into a certain.
Yeah.
And
I didn't even really. I just thought I was just glad to get into high school.
Yeah.
I was bad. I didn't even graduate from 8th grade.
Yeah.
They just said, "Joe, going to high school."
Yeah.
I got into a big, huge fight.
Yeah.
At school.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to.
See, they've given you some fashion stuff in elementary school. You'd have been like on top of it.
Well,
if they
I
give
was
it,
doing fashion
yeah,
a little bit because I
yeah,
was always unique. Like
yeah,
I remember, like for my first, I think I used to come into school wearing like jerseys and stuff like that,
yeah,
sneakers. Didn't care if they were dirty. But then when I got time to graduate,
yeah,
I remember I was a little preppy.
yeah,
I was
yeah, yeah.
wearing
The
the
fashion.
penny loafers with the socks that was matching
I can
with the
see.
eyes
How can I
on.
see you? I can absolutely. Did you do a sweater around?
I had the
Oh
sweater.
my
No, if you
God!
used to see my
Not
graduate picture, I had the
Carlton.
cut, nice haircut with the
Oh, bow tie.
no, not the bow tie. I had a plaid. I had a plaid button
Uh
down
huh.
shirt on
Uh huh.
and this really nice sweater that my mother bought me that was wool.
Woo.
And yeah, that was and
And
I was preppy.
eyes on, right?
It was eyes out, and I had this or Garanimals.
I love it. I
Garanimals were
love
from
it.
Target, I think, or they were
That
from
is dope.
Twin Fair or something like
They
that.
need to bring that back.
The
Okay, them looks were
Garanimals.
looking.
Yeah, yeah,
Them looks
yeah.
was
And I
looking
had it
back in
with
the
the
day.
shorts on,
Yes.
with the color socks to match
How
the
short were
sweater.
your shorts? Because now they're calling them hoochie daddy shorts.
They weren't that short.
I was
They weren't
laughing when
long
I heard
either.
that.
They
Ooh, I
weren't,
forgot.
this was back in the 80s.
Yeah,
So,
hoochie daddy
yeah,
shorts. I was like, no, they didn't.
they were
Yeah,
short, but
yeah,
they weren't that
yeah.
short.
Like the
And
back.
they
Remember
weren't
back
that
in the
long.
day, Larry Bird and all of
They
them
were
were
like
doing
that. They were like that. I'm not gonna kid it. I'm not gonna like. Hey, but that's what. Guess what? That's why all the girls used to like to go to the basketball
Like,
games.
look at the legs.
Look at the legs of the boys. They ain't like football players.
Yeah.
Now they like football players
Yeah.
with their pants and stuff.
Yeah.
All tight and
Yeah.
stuff. But back then, all
Yeah.
the girls wanted
Basketball players. Yeah. So okay, so that's good. I'm telling you, people, and I'm not knocking fashion school, but I know some people who never went to fashion school, and their stuff is just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna say, like I went to school for the arts,
Mhm.
so they taught us how to do architect.
Right.
They taught me how to draw with pencils because back then it was about I graduated advertising art, so meaning that we had to do ads and do some different types of drawing for magazines, and we used to have to work with different departments at our vocational school to complete a magazine. Like I had to do an album cover, I had to do a magazine cover. Both times I got like a 98 or a 99,
See.
but I suppose that I got 100.
Yeah.
But I didn't get it because I put by Tony Dennis big on the front or by Tony D instead of being like morning news or something or news watch.
Lord
That's the name
have-
of the magazine. News watch.
help.
It'll be by Tony Dennis big, and then
He was like, yeah. I just wanted. She's like, I just wanted y'all to know that I did it. You're not fitting to get my work.
And so everybody in school used to be like, "Yo, you killed the new season this year magazine cover."
Yeah.
And then I get the grade, and she's like, "You got a 98," and I'm like, "A 98."
But you really got 100. It's just called your name.
No, she told me.
Yeah.
She explained it to me. She says, "Hey, this isn't about you. This is about the magazine."
Right.
And the story of the magazine. So, and then from there, I went to college. I had offers to go to. I had art scholarships because of my grammar school. My high school I went to was like in the top 5 or in the top 20, I would say, in the United States for art from McKinley High School. So, and it was like top 5 in New York State. So I had got recommendations to go to RIT, NIT, and so forth. And I went and visit those schools, but they didn't have a football team. And I wanted to play football, and I told my mother I wanted to play football. My mother's like, "Boy, you need to be good." I was like, "No, I'm playing football."
Oh wow!
So then I ended up going to, and then I didn't have the best grades, so either I was going to have to go to a JUCO school and then transfer because I was recruited from Penn State, Pennsylvania, Kent State, Syracuse, but I went to a Division III school. And then I left there, went to a Division II, and then I just dropped out.
Well, look at you now. You are. I'm glad you did because now we have the artist known as Stitch.
Yes.
Tony
Dennis.
There you go. So tell us about Tote and Carry. How did that start? Because that was that your first, or was it No Names? No Names.
No Names actually was my first brand that I started. Because I used to make T-shirts, I
Okay.
used to work for Escalator Handrail Company, and
Mhm.
I used to paint.
Mhm.
After I got out of college, I dropped out of college, had to get a job, and I went to a job fair, and just so happened there's this lady there, and she asked me about this kid, about art or something. And I said, well, I paint and I draw. She says, I want you to go to this interview, go check it. And I make a long story short, I was the only person at this job fair that she sent to go to this job.
Wow.
She told me that too. She says, because job fair, most people come, they want to get a job working at a sneaker store or McDonald's or something like that, or they want to go do some engineering. Go work at some factory or something. And this place I was at, she said she had a few people that come, but they didn't know how to draw, or they weren't artistic. There
Right.
you go. And so I worked for this Escalator Handrail Company where we had to paint the handrails.
Wow.
So the rubber piece that you grab.
So you also paint?
Yeah, I paint too. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I had no idea that he painted. So, folks, he designs the look, he gets the fabric, he sews, and he paints.
Yep.
Is that a quadruple threat? I think so. But go ahead.
So too. So so a lot of people don't know if you ever ride a handrail, escalator. I'm sorry, the handrail when it flips underneath, it's all made out of nylon or cotton. So if it's cotton and nylon is either red or black. Red or white. So we would paint those.
Oh.
Right, or painted the color of the handrail.
Yeah.
So when it flips under, you'll see it's the same color. And when they cook it in the oven. But we used to get this all on our pants, all on our clothes, and it wouldn't come off.
Oh wow.
You know me, I'm creative and stuff like that. So I started taking some of the rubber compounds home, and I would shake it up with some trichlor, and I would make T-shirts out of them and hang them out in the yard. And my friends would come over. And they'd be like, yo, let's get a T-shirt, because we used to always want to go to parties and go dancing. And we used to be like out dancing with our shirts on. Yeah. Only thing about it, they just smelled like handrails. Yeah.
I may not smell good, but I look good. Okay.
Yeah, that was the funniest thing.
Yeah.
So, we're young too, and we're young too. We ain't know nothing about no cologne or nothing like that, or how to.
Can you show the folks can you stand up and show them the front of your
this is
shirt? No names.
It stands for us as Black people being robbed of our identity. This is the hat, no names, and it has the design right there, no names design. And to make sure that it's official, you can see on the inside, it has my name and everything on the inside of the hat, and you don't see the design from the other side. So that's letting you know it's really official.
That's right.
You can't embroider through no brim. And then this is the back of the shirt.
Yes.
I know I'm kind of tall here.
Yeah.
So, I'll say, history tells us our ancestors were kidnapped from the motherland and brought to this land with no justice, no liberties, no common languages, no respect, and no names. Yeah. Us as a people, we've been robbed of our identity. Yeah. So that's where I started making T-shirts.
Yes.
I had moved from Buffalo and with the handrail company, and they transferred me to Toronto to get some training. I met my first wife, and then we moved to Iowa.
Iowa.
Yeah, that's a short stint.
Okay. You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to talk.
I didn't mention that.
I know he said Atlanta, but he said Iowa. It was like, listen, I've been places. I've been to the places. Okay.
So when I went to Iowa, there's nothing out there for me to do.
Yeah.
But
cornfields and stuff.
Cornfields and John Deere. That's all it was cornfields and John Deere.
I can't see you riding on a.
Yo, it was crazy. It was crazy, but I liked it. It was different. A city boy going out there. And
but the thing is, what I like about you, you're not afraid to go anywhere.
No, I'm not afraid.
We're going to Iowa. We're going to Iowa.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I went out there, I didn't know no one like I did when I came here. And my first wife, she was like, "You don't need to be out at the club, just hanging out over there." I said, "There ain't no club. The club is an old McDonald's that they turned into a club. It was a McDonald's that they took everything out of, and that was you can still see the arches when you pull up." And it said, what was this place called? Paradise Island or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
And Rock out Paradise Island.
It's called McClub.
McClub, right? And you literally are pulling into I was like, yo, I knew I was in trouble. And so she said, you know what you need to do? you need to just go and start working on your art
Yeah.
and stay focused.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and I would just have my whole apartment with pictures of that I would do. And then one time she came to visit me and said, you're super talented,
Yeah.
yo. She said, we got to do something with these drawings.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had drawings all over
Yeah.
every place. And then I thought we were going to probably sell prints.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then I had a T-shirt on with Malcolm X on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the bango, wooden bango bead
Yeah.
necklace on. She was like, you need to go and doing T-shirts.
Yeah.
You should put your drawings on T-shirts.
On T-shirts, wow.
And nobody was kind of really doing that then.
Yeah.
And I'm always like kind of the first to do things.
Mm-hmm.
That's even like with the bags.
Mm-hmm.
And we got in the circuit, the Black Expo circuit, started selling my T-shirts to no names, and it did really, really well. And I did that for like about 4 years, 5 years, and then after that, I had to get out of Iowa.
Yeah.
And she was like, "We getting out of here. I can't be over here." It was just too. It didn't have enough culture.
Right. After a while, you kind of outgrow spaces. Yeah. I find that myself. You kind of, even if it's like at a place with culture or whatever, but after a while, you get to a certain level, you're like, I gotta get out of here.
I gotta get out of here. Yeah. So we got out, and then we moved to Atlanta. And I went over there. Then I opened up my first store, the No Name store. We opened up a whole store for No Name. Olympics came, sold a lot. It's funny, and it was like in a little alley, like a little small off the beaten trail, little small store. About
Olympics is coming to LA in 2028.
Yeah, I heard.
Okay, all right, but back to your story. I just had to. You said Olympics.
I know the Olympics coming. All right. I'm trying to think. Do I want to still be here around 2028? Though that's 4 years from now.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
But we did really well, and our brand took off, and I started learning more about the business of being in fashion. Mm-hmm. Besides just being a T-shirt designer, and then I started meeting seamstresses because I wanted to put the tags in the back of our shirts, right? So I started meeting seamstresses, and now I wanted to have certain jeans that I wanted made, and certain ideas of designs. I would draw them out, and I would have somebody make them for us. And she started making outfits. This lady named Miss Mary, I'll never forget her. Yep, she used to.
Shout out to Miss Mary.
Yep, shout out to
you
Miss
did
Mary.
The thing for him. Thank you.
Yep, Miss Mary, this white lady. She used to make pants for me and make my wife at the time little outfits and stuff. And I wanted to learn how to sew. I was like, yo, okay, Miss Mary started charging me too much. I was like, she getting too much money.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted my wife to sew.
To learn, yeah.
Because I was thinking, that's a woman thing. I don't want to be
come
sewing.
on.
Yeah,
come on.
I let her sew.
Yeah.
And so she tried it. We went and bought the sewing machine from the Goodwill, and she was trying it, but she was just too slow. Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't her thing.
Yeah, that wasn't her thing. And then she got frustrated one day. Like, you think you're so good? Why don't you try it? I said, all right, I'll try it. And then I started trying it. I started getting a groove for it. And, I started just sewing shirts at night. And I just used to, buy the shirts, take it, get them printed. And then I put the tags on it. And all of my shirts was expressive. So they had
a message.
A message.
Right.
And so everybody, when we go to the trade shows, people want to get No Name T-shirts. If it ain't the No Name, the original, they might want the one that had a new song one.
Right.
Going to about premeditated murder, how Black people were hung. And, it was, that's premeditated murder. And then we had other ones with guns on them, but it goes to the message about us killing each other. So it had a lot. I have a lot of
messages.
Yeah, a lot of messages about slavery. Yeah. And about us as Black people just being robbed of our identity, and also too about us as a people not uplifting ourselves in the community. Black, white, Mexican, Puerto Rican, whatever. That if we don't stop it, the violence ain't gonna stop.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
We have to uplift ourselves and then uplift it. Because I personally. I love all the races, just like how you love all the races. And what you and I had this conversation the other day about us just uplifting one another in the Black community. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, of course, we're African Americans. I'm African American.
I'm a Jamaican American. Jamaican.
Yeah. but we still have to respect our culture
Mm.
and understand that what's going on in the culture to make sure that we can
Help each other
help,
out.
yeah, help each other out and
Yeah.
help our culture grow
Yeah.
with our youth.
Yeah.
Because the youth is all we have.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
that's why with No Names, I was trying to get
Yeah.
into pushing expressive art with
Yeah.
my fashion.
And it's I've seen I met did you go to the bazaar downstairs last weekend?
I didn't go. I missed that. Did you
Yeah.
go?
Yeah, I met a young man there that he's also doing expressive art. So
Oh,
but
nice.
his shirts it doesn't go as deep, but the design and stuff of the shirts, they're beautiful. One was said hope, and then it had
Mm.
something on the back of it, and the other one. So he said that he grew up in Roxbury, Massachusetts, in his
Mm-hmm.
community, and I know about Roxbury back home near Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it can be. It, it was pretty bad back in the day, and so he
Nice.
said growing up around there, he wanted to just spread hope among our people, and so when he came out here, he decided to start this line. So yeah,
Nice.
expressive.
I wish I would have made it to that, but
Yeah,
I know I think when I found out about it, it was a little bit
too late.
too late.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
wasn't gonna force it.
yeah,
And sometimes I like to have myself prepared when I'm gonna do events.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
like with the No Names, we used to go on tour.
Right.
I started my own Black college tour.
Okay.
Thanks to her, because
Yeah.
I give thanks to my first wife
Yeah.
and my second wife.
Yeah.
They both were very inspirations
That's
in my
good.
life as
That's
far as
good.
my fashion.
Right.
Um, not as far as the fashion itself, but the business side.
Yes.
The
We need that.
Yeah, with the
We need
business
that.
side,
Yeah.
behind every great man there is a great woman.
Yeah. Help me.
Or a great
Your
mate.
rib.
Yeah, or mate.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
they inspired me in several different ways.
That's good though.
Yeah, my
That's
first
amazing.
wife taught me a lot about business and about not being afraid to.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, I wasn't a studious kid,
Mm-hmm.
so I knew I had talent, but I used to be afraid to be around more educated individuals.
Yeah.
Because I was always a kid when the teacher asked me to read or do the math problem, I'd be like, next.
Get somebody else to do it.
Yeah, get somebody else to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if
But
there's something to draw on the board or come draw something, I'll get up
yeah.
and do it.
I will do it. Yes. Yes. For
But-
sure.
And that led me to till I got to the token carry.
Yeah, so the token, so you went from no name to now having a name. Toten carry.
Because after No Names,
Yeah.
I had three stores in Atlanta, No Name stores. I had one from 95 to 2005, and I had like a little boutique at this in this area called it's like an art area, like a Studioplex. It was called in Atlanta, Georgia, where it was a old warehouse that they put creators in there, and you had to be an artist to have a spot to live there for free if you're an artist.
Right.
They wouldn't let me in there to be an artist because I was an artist because I did T-shirts, and they considered that not to be art.
Okay.
So, but my wife at the time, she was like, you know what, and and we was young, getting money, and she was like, we want that one on the corner there. And she says, you can turn this and make this into your place in the front. You can put your art in here. You showcase your store. We living in the back, and so forth. And so that was my second store. And then I had another little pop-up spot in a little 5-point stereo. And then after that, it was time for me to graduate. And I moved downtown Atlanta, and I opened up my store called Stitches. And that's why everybody calls me Stitch.
Stitch, yes.
The home of the Stitch Doctor. Because I used to work in my house in the basement. And my friends used to come over and be like, oh, we in the lab. We over here with Tone in the lab.
Yeah.
And I used to be down there making clothes for a lot of Atlanta's big-time promoters and celebrities, like up-and-coming rappers, Dallas, Austin. I used to do stuff for people, Goody Mob. I used to do stuff for just getting my foot in. I used to do some stuff for some of the Buffalo Bills, the promoter of the club, Karma, and I just kept just doing one-on-ones. And after that, I was time for me to move, and I was going to get another store, another retail store. And one of my friends from Nigeria was like, dude, you don't need to do no more of that no name store again, because you know what, you're going to be over there. People only thing you selling in there is no names. You need to do what you do, and that's you've been doing this custom clothing, you've been doing all of this tailoring and all this stuff. You know, you just need to be a full-on tailor. And I was like, man, I ain't no tailor, dog. I'm a designer. He was like, you can be a designer all you want. You're gonna be broke. He was like, yo, my Nigerian friend Puma. Shout out to Puma.
Puma.
And shout out to my other boy, Bill Taylor. Puma was like, yo, you need to be my grandfather was a tailor. You can always make your lunch money. You can always make a little coin here and there. You make some money. He was telling me about how his grandfather in Nigeria was a tailor. And I was like, dude, he said, trust me, man. Trust me. You're going to like it. So I was going to open up the store and call it No Names Again by Tony Dennis. And then my friend Bill said, no, you should just call it Stitches. It's more universal. It appeals to everybody.
Stands out.
It stands out. Not like No Names. It makes you feel like it's only driven to
a certain demographic.
And that thing took off. It came